Hey, my name's Clive Johnson. I'm a Principal Sales Engineer here at Salesforce.com, and I'm going to talk about a challenge that I was given by a recent customer. They want to do an assignment process, so they have incidents coming in from their customers, and depending on the type of incident, they want to assign it to a number of different folks within their different work queues. The assignment can be based on things such as the assignment limit, so each agent's got a limit of the number of cases they can take, a number of instances they can take. So that might be 5, 10, 15, whatever that number might be. It also takes account of their current workload, so the folks with the smallest workload will get the next case, and whether they're active or not. So if they're on PTO or doing some other non-work activity, we can flag them as being inactive or active, as a case might be. I've looked at a number of different items in the App Exchange, and a couple of them seem to do a pretty good job at some of these things. But I really want to show you a great approach I've found using Headless flows, which is a new capability. So just give you an example of the sort of thing I'm talking about. So an incident comes in, and the dice get rolled, and then it gets assigned to Jane, maybe. The next incident comes in, and based on the workload, assignment limits, etc., active flags, it goes through the assignment engine and then gets assigned to the appropriate agent. So that's the basic problem that we're going to resolve. So let me go into the application. So here I am logged into the application, and I'm on my screen here that shows my list of current incidents. But before I want to create a new incident, let me show you the incident assignment page that I've created. This is a custom object that I've linked to the case item. So if I click on one of these commercial agents, so these are the guys that work on just commercial issues that get assigned. So I've got the name of the user, I've got their active flag, the queue is conf for commercial. They've got 2 incidents assigned, and these are 2 open incidents, and they've got an incident limit of 3. So if you do the math there, they've got a load of about 66.67%. And we can actually see here the incidents that have been assigned. Now you may see more than 2 here because a number of the ones that we see in the screen here are actually already closed. So if I come back to my incident assignment, and if I just go for the commercial agents, because I'm going to create a commercial case, here's my display. So the way the rule works is I'm going to assign to the agent with the lowest load. So in this particular example, the lowest load is actually Tim's service. And if you actually see the numbers, he's got 2 instances currently assigned, he's got a limit of 3. Now once we assign this final one, he'll be at his max level. And it'd be interesting to see what happens there with respect to the active flag, etc. So let me come in here, create a simple case, simple incident, and I'm going to just do a test commercial incident. I'm just going to hit the save button, and it's going to run these headless flows, and it says it's going to assign here to Tim's service as maybe suggested. So before I refresh the screen, this is the way the information was before I did the assignment. I hit the little refresh button there, and sure enough it was assigned to Tim's service. He's now 3 instances assigned, he's got a limit of 3. So his load is 100%, so the system has now said, okay, he's no longer active. So the next case that comes along will not be assigned to Tim because he's not able to receive these. So let me just for grins create a new case, new incident, and I'll just do another test com. Hit the save button. And it's now got assigned to Brenda's service. So if I come back to my incident assignments without refreshing the screen here, Brenda's service, that's the one I would have expected to receive because she's got the next lowest load. She's got 3 assigned, 4 limit. So let's just make sure what happens there. So we can see now that Brenda is in effect now being taken out of the queue because she's hit a limit. But what I've done is I've actually gone into the system and actually made some other changes in the workflow. And I've actually created a workflow so that it says, well, when we close these cases, so I'm closing the case here for Brenda's service. So if I change the status to closed, hit the save button, and then I come back to incident assignments without refreshing. So I've hit the one there for Brenda's service. So she's currently 4 assigned, 4 incident limits. So if I refresh, it's now got Brenda's service 3 assigned, 4 limit. She's now back to being active. And these flows are really quite clever at the way they can quickly balance things. I did actually approach this via triggers, but that was quite a tricky area. So let's now dive into these flows and see how these things are called. So the way these flows are called is actually via workflows. So I've got a number of workflows here. So I've got 4 primary workflows that control the whole process. The first workflow here is instant assignment. So it calls a flow trigger when it wants to assign it to the appropriate agent. So there's a new action now in workflow actions to actually call a workflow trigger. If you remember, there's a task, there's an email, there's an outbound, and there's a field update. There's a new one now in Spring 14 called flow trigger, and this is a really powerful capability. So let's drill into that flow trigger. And it actually shows you here, it actually creates a flow called case flow Clive. And let me just go into this flow. And it's a really simple flow. Prior to doing a quick test with this, I didn't have a great deal of experience with the flow designer, but there's just 3 boxes. I actually look up, I find the details for the assignment, I update the assignment, and then I come back and update the case. So it's a pretty simple process. If I drill into one of these fields, one of these boxes, I've got a little bit of text in here that describes exactly what's going on, and it's just going to find, if I come down here, it's going to look for in the incident assignment object, those records where the active flag is set and the queue is equal to the queue of the case. So in the example we gave, it was the COM queue. Then I'm going to sort it by the load. So we got the load ascending. So I'm going to find the person with the lowest load. And then I'm going to set some variables here, and I'm going to use those variables a little bit later on. I can leave you some of these examples at the end here to show you what's going on. But in essence, these are pretty simple flows. So this does the assignment, which is really nice and simple to use. Then there's another flow that I used. So I come back to my flows area, and this is the one to decrement the assignment load on close. So when we close the case, I want to be able to make sure that we say the agent's no longer assigned to a case, to an incident, and we can decrement the counter accordingly. This is an even simpler one. It's just 2 boxes here. We do a quick lookup, and then we do a quick update. We decrement the incident load. So it's a really simple way of doing some fairly powerful things. So I close that area out as well. And then if I come back to my workflow rules, I've got 2 other rules to set the status inactive or set the status active. So this is where I'm doing my comparison of the loads. So this is the one that sets the status active for the incident assignment. So if the number of incidents assigned is less than the incident limit, then it's going to set the status to active. Pretty simple. And the converse is also true. So I come back to my set status inactive. So if they've been assigned more cases than their limit, it'll set the status to inactive. So, you know, pretty simple flows here. So from start to finish, maybe took me an hour or so. Writing triggers would be very difficult to track and maintain. But using these headless flows, we can actually come into the system. We can actually show these flows. I can present them to a customer. I can take different versions of this. I can document the flow here, and it makes a very easy way for us to sort of do a fairly complex piece of capability in the system. So any questions, feel free to come back to me. My name's Clive Johnson. I'm a Principal Sales Engineer here at Salesforce.com. Thank you.